Good evening. My name is Odie Hawkins, and here we are once again on Monday night talking about what we're going to be talking about. And that lady who just ran through the scene is going to be one of the people who talks with me to talk to you. Her name is Zola Salena-Hawkins, and if I'm not mistaken, she's going in to time the scene.
Yes, I'm
Hey,
going
Zola,
to
you here?
Yes, I am.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Hey, honey, what you got on here? What is this all about?
Well,
Can you do a little turnaround, a little twist, a little something?
There you go.
Oh, I like that. It's Brazilian.
Yes, it's a flare.
The top colors look like the gay colors.
Well, we're all gay to some extent.
Please have a seat. Gay to some extent.
To some extent.
Did you get that? Gay to some extent.
Happy.
You too much. Okay. Last time we were talking about the novel that I'm writing called We invite you to sip your favorite beverage.
Yes.
I'm having tea.
I'm having yoga tea.
Your tea is not as good as my tea.
Probably not. Your tea is for you and my tea is for me.
Oh, you're right here today, huh? In any case, whether you have a tea or not, what we started talking about last time was a novel that I'm writing. I don't know if it's fair to call it a novel or a collage in print. It's called Old, O-L-D, Old.
Something we know about, a little bit about.
If you live long enough, you'll be old. Anyway, one of the ways I thought I could bring out what I mean by old better was to focus on 5 women that I've known in my life. And out of those 5, I picked up something early on. As a matter of fact, interesting, they're all dead now, all 5 of them.
Not in your mind?
But not in my mind. Never, never, never. That's the point. And if you're lucky enough to have had 5 women or 5 men, in this case, I'm picking on 5 women.
Right.
If you had the good fortune to have someone like these 5 women, you'll understand why it is that you might want to write about 5 women.
Well, 5 special people. Name 5 special people.
5 special people.
Interacted with you during your lifetime up to this point.
Got that.
That cannot be forgotten.
Cannot be. Okay, I picked on the first 3. I left my mother out of this because that's an obvious favorite. That's like betting on a sure thing. And in my case, I don't know if my mother would have been able to give me what these 5 women gave me because she didn't have it. When I was born, she was 16.
Okay.
So what did she know?
So what about these 5 women? What are their names?
Okay. I'm starting with what am I saying? I'm starting with 3 Aints. I'm calling them Saints.
Saints.
Saint Mamie, Saint Bessie, Saint Mary, and then an honorary saint that I'm calling Saint Margaret Burroughs, Dr. Margaret Burroughs, who's a school teacher of mine. And finally, one other person that I almost forgot about, her name is Saint Miss Sweet. Saint Miss Sweet.
Okay.
Who was not related to me in the same way that Dr. Burroughs was not related to me by blood, but they became people who gave me what they had to give me. I'll start with it. Saint Mamie.
Okay, Saint Mamie. Tell me about her. What's special about Saint Mamie?
Okay, Saint Mamie. The first thing that comes to my mind, she was a wonderful cook. She was a wonderful
Way
cook.
to a man's heart or a boy's heart is through
The boy's
his
heart.
stomach.
Give me some of those sweet potato pies
Okay.
and the biscuit that melted in your mouth before they got there.
So you like sweet potato pie?
I love sweet potato pie, but I can't get them anymore because you get them in the grocery store, they're commercial. They taste like peanuts or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, my mother's side of the family came from Arkansas, My father's side came from Mississippi. The Arkansas branch came from a place called Helena, Arkansas. And I went through there, Helena, one night. That seemed to take 3 days.
Maybe a year.
Maybe it was. This is the 1960s, and there's some good old boys sitting on the porch watching me fill my gas tank up at the local gas station.
What kind of car were you driving?
A Japanese honeybee.
Oh my, okay.
That little beautiful little car. And I remember one of them. Good question. One of them came over. What kind of car is this? It's a car.
It's a car.
It's a car.
It's not made in the United States.
It's not made in the United States. Where it come from? So, Japan. I thought we were gonna have some problems, but a big old guy came up, named Clyde, you know, and he says about 6'6", about 480. I'm exaggerating just a bit. But, you know, oh, Jeffro, leave the boy alone. You know, I was 35 at the time.
Yeah, the boy alone.
Yeah, leave the boy alone. That was Helena, Arkansas for me. What happened to me and Clyde, he asked me to take him to the local liquor store to get a beer. And as we drove away from the gas station to go to this place where they bought beer and stuff, I looked behind me and there's a car behind me. The people on the gas station decided to follow us, and I thought, well, goodbye.
Nice
this is my life for hanging. We arrived at the place like a little delicatessen, and Clyde goes up to the counter and says, "What kind of beer you want?" So Miller's High Life, if they have it. He wants a Miller High Life. And the old couple who ran the place, who looked like a couple of red-necked iguanas, looked at me and looked at him. I assumed they didn't serve black people there at the time. But since this was Clyde.
Right, yes, indeed. You're a special guest of Clyde. You offend Clyde, you offend you offend Clyde.
It's Clyde. The good old boys who had followed us from the gas station, they were just curious about me. They piled in, and Clyde was cool, and I was trying to be cool. You know, like, how do I get out of here? You know.
But I was cool.
But I was cool. Where you on your way? So lost my voice there for a minute. I'm on my way to California. That's a mighty long way from here. Yeah, I know. And I'm on my way to California. And
if you let me.
Will I get out of here? And y'all, you know, and what you do in California? So, well, you know, I live, I breathe, I spit, I dream, I shit, I piss. And they thought that was funny. It came out of me. You know,
right, okay, nervousness.
It maybe I can make them smile a little bit.
Make them laugh, okay.
Meanwhile, Clyde is looking at me, you know, like, that's pretty good. What's your name? Odie. Oh, Odie. I knew who's that guy named Odie who lived over there, and you know, I got the beer. So look, guys, really enjoy talking to you. Gotta run to California.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, I hope I don't have to get out here and run to California.
Right.
But I started walking out. Clyde said, well, ain't you gonna give me a lift back to the
right.
I thought, oh my God, it is the last chance to stretch my neck. He gets back in the car, we just go,
right.
And we're riding back to the gas station. We're going through something, I don't know, it was pitch black. And what was the crazy thing, there's a light pole that came up out of nowhere. A light pole with a light on the top of it, and two black men standing on the light pole having a cigarette. It was like, it was surreal. I thought I was on Mars somewhere.
Right, they thought you were too.
And they did. They looked in at me, and they looked at him, and they looked at me again like,
how you get with
what you doing?
Right.
We didn't say anything, we just drove. We finally,
Did you buy Clyde a beer?
No, I had forgot. He didn't ask for it, and I didn't think of it. But what happened was interesting. That's a good question. as we drove along, I said, "Bust the cap, go on and have a taste." Well, okay, you know, I had an opener. And, you know, I drank the bottle, and he's looking at me and like, "Ain't you gonna offer me?"
Right.
So would you like to sip? So, sure enough. And he grabbed the bottle and
Finish it off for you. Oh, you got manners.
he left about that much.
Oh, okay. You got manners.
Get the manners. Nothing like a cold beer. And this man started talking to me. He was a ACLU liberal in the middle of
Oh my goodness.
nowhere.
Okay.
I said, "Well, Clyde, what do you do around here?" So, well, ain't too much a Negro can do. And obviously I'm not a Negro. And ain't too damn much a white man can do. And obviously I'm a white man. We used to have a lot of cotton growing around here, but ain't too much cotton growing. Practically ain't nothing. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. I was thinking about coming to California. When I saw your license plate, I thought to myself, California.
Okay.
And we had a pleasant conversation. We got to the gas station. I gave him the rest of the beer. So I tell you what, Odie, his hands were big enough. Don't forget,
Buy a book.
before all the books fall down, to come and get one.
He took your hand.
Grabbed my hand, and his hand covered all my
Swallowed your hand.
swallowed my hand. When you come back through here, if I ain't around, you know, just ask anybody for Clyde Lindstrom.
Okay.
Lindstrom. Can you say that?
Clyde Lindstrom.
Lindstrom.
Yes,
I'm getting
yes,
it.
yes.
So
Yeah.
onward I go. And I arrived back in California safe and sound.
Gotcha.
Why am I telling you this?
Now you're telling me this because this involves one of your aunts.
On one side. Aint Mamie and Aint Bessie were from Arkansas,
Gotcha.
a little town called Helena.
And that's where you went through.
I was there, that's where I was going through. You got a good memory.
Okay.
When I first met Aint Mamie, I was about, when I first met her, when I first got to know her, I was about 7 or 8 years old. And my father was in jail, and my mother was just running the streets. Well, I say that, everybody knows that my mother was running the streets, and my father was serving time. And the custom of the time, which is what we can get to, was that people who were in your family would pick you up and take you home with them.
Yeah. Becomes part of a village or community.
A huge village. Aint Mamie and Uncle Thomas lived right across the street from Washington Park, 51st, and for those in Chicago who now call South Parkway King Drive, 51st Street, right across the street from Washington Park. Matter of fact, right in front of the Grand Hotel, right across the street, was a statue of George Washington on a horse with his sword sticking straight up in the air. I didn't know who he was for years. Who was this guy on the horse here?
With the pigeon sitting on him, but going on.
My mother had, just simply, I guess, relinquished me, the two of us, me and my sister. And Aint Mamie said, "Well, bring on over here, we got a room."
Right, because there wasn't, it's easy in today's world for a single woman to raise a child. So you can imagine back in the 40s.
That's what it was,
Late 30s, early 40s, it was extremely hard.
Yeah, no, I'll go apply for, help and blah, blah, blah. So we wound up staying with Aint Mamie. I think it lasted for maybe a year. We were being taken around and left with relatives because we didn't have a place to stay. And during the course of the time I was there, I remember it as a year because across the street from Washington Park meant that you could watch the change of the seasons. And I believe we moved in the middle of the winter time because it was cold and snow. The basement was wonderful. They had enough room for us. Very soon after we moved in, Aint Bessie moved in with her daughter, Martha Ann, and Martha Ann's boyfriend, Jake. So we got Aint Mamie, Yeah, Aint Mamie, Uncle Thomas, Aint Bessie, Martha Ann, her boyfriend, me and Louise, and my mother when she came, and my father when he came.
Okay. Wow.
In this basement. So there's winter, and there's spring, and there's summer.
Wow. Okay.
We had those seasons. Okay, during the course of the time I was there, I became acquainted with Aint Mamie's wisdom first. And like I said, she enhanced whatever she said with this gumbo, sweet potato pie, biscuits.
So she was a real saint.
And she was a real saint. I spelled that in parentheses, saint.
Okay. Right.
But she was full of intelligence about where she come from. She had been a cook for the good white folks in the town she lived in, and on one occasion, I was acquainted a little bit with how the racial thing. You know, when you're a kid, you don't really understand how things operate. I didn't know that black meant you was automatically considered inferior. It didn't occur to me.
Right.
She's talking about living down in Arkansas. She and Aint Bessie, I'll get to Aint Bessie in a minute.
Right.
And how it was that, maybe tell them how you kept them men folks off of you. Kept the men folks off of me. Oh, she's talking about the people I worked for. They had a young man, he thought he was something. And the daddy thought he was something too. And I guess they thought I was something too. And the husband, the daddy, whatever he's supposed to be, he approached me one time.
Why not?
And I'm listening. Approach?
Approach?
Approach means come up to, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, he approached me. And I had to tell him, Mr. Smithers, now you know I'm cooking for you, right? And he said, what did he say, Bessie? He said, yeah, I know. That's what he said. And you said, I cook for you and the family. You know that. And you know, I use a lot of different kind of seasoning in my food. And he didn't approach me no more. It took me 3 years to figure out what it is.
She explained things so there was no misunderstandings.
And it's interesting for these women coming from a place where they could just legally be misused, raped, assaulted in any kind of way, because there was no law that said a black woman had any rights that any white man was supposed to respect. In the conversation with Aint Bessie, who was, maybe was a broad-shouldered woman,
full body. About your mother's size.
Okay, no, Aint Mamie was big.
Okay.
You think about Aint Bessie. Aint Bessie was small, like a sort of bird. Like they made funny sisters because they were always joking with each other. That sounded serious. They both, incidentally, liked a little old crow or little old something. It was always old something. Old Johnny Bird.
Little sipping whiskey.
A little sipping whiskey. And they sit there, Aint Bessie dip snuff. Excuse me. And Bessie dip snuff. And everything she said
You got that down.
had stuff in it. He kept a can, Coke to her. Never missed. I mean, she was a champion spitter.
Right.
I'm getting carried away with this because they're taking me both too.
Right, you got 2 down, okay.
Okay. Aint Bessie talked about things in a slightly different way than Aint Mamie. Aint Mamie was, in a sense, living a privileged life down there because she was working in the white folks' kitchen. Aint Bessie, as I understand it, worked in the fields. So it's funny, one was big and robust, and the other was small.
One that worked in the kitchen.
The one worked in the kitchen, and little Aint Bessie, she was about 5'2", weighed about 115, 20 pounds. and was bird-like. I remember she was always flitting around.
Okay.
She was cleaning things. She was doing, Aunt Mamie was, Bessie, would you sit down? You making me nervous.
All right.
And Bessie's the one who came with her daughter, Martha Ann, whom you met in
Yeah,
Chicago.
and Martha Ann, who was your mother's running mate.
My mother, oh Lord.
So, all right, so we got got St. Mary, St. Mamie.
I'm calling, okay,
St.
I'm
Mary.
at St. Mary now.
Okay.
The two,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
okay, Aunt Mamie and Aunt Bessie lived on the south side. Aunt Mary was the queen of the west side.
Gotcha.
She was from Yazoo, the west side of the family, I call them, was from Yazoo City, Mississippi. And they were all, I noticed that early on, the south side branch was brown skin, about our color. The people on the west side were dark, uniformly. They're all brown,
Oh, okay.
chocolate colored.
Okay.
And I attributed to the fact that there was less contamination by
Gotcha.
race. I call it contamination because
Yeah.
they sure the hell didn't marry anybody. you know.
Right. Okay.
And getting to know her, once again, I had been transferred from someplace, and I'm living at Aunt Mary's house
Gotcha.
in the basements. Basements at the time were cheaper to rent than most other places, mainly because they had many more rats than most places.
That seems the case was about all over the world. The basement, basement apartments, you know, in Hong Kong and, you know, different places that flood, you know, that...
More damage, I mean, more possibility of dying.
Right.
So, you know, Aunt Mary, Aunt Mary was a strong little woman. She was about 5'2", and she ran a gambling house in her basement. The gambling, I call it the casino, had a table about this long and maybe twice the size. Looked like a pool table. And on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and all the way through up until Sunday morning, people were playing, shooting dice. And these were serious crap shooters who worked at the stockyards, and they would be winning and losing money.
Okay,
of
so
course, most
crap shooters are dice, they play dice.
Well, as we know, the house never loses.
Okay.
So she was not cheating. Her husband, Uncle Percy, who was about 5'2", that they called Mr. 111111. Mr. 111111 got his nickname because he was convicted of shooting a man 11 times, and he was going to shoot him 11 more times before they stopped him.
He was reloading.
And he was sent to 11. He was sent to Leavenworth Penitentiary for 11 years. So he was known as Mr. 1111.
Quite a poem.
He was Mr. 1111. And he was highly respected. I'm talking about these big stockyard workers come in there, and you know, they've been beating cows in the head all day with sledgehammers and things.
Tend to respect the man who shot a man 11 times. He had with intent.
He didn't say it but once. He didn't say it but once. Y'all have to stop that.
He had a short fuse.
Yeah, hey, and they did. Whatever it was. For example, we slept in the front room while they were doing the gambling. And
you and Louise.
Me and Louise and cousin Edna and cousin Moochie and cousin Tweet, other visiting cousins. Uncle Percy had made us beds before they got the game going on, which were mattresses placed on top of milk crates. He had some kind of little something to put the thing on, and we did that. He was the boss, and how he and Aunt Mary got together, I don't know, but she was also the boss.
I'm sure she was.
You know, and
a woman running a gambling house.
Yeah, she was running a gambling house.
Yeah, right.
If anybody can remember that area in time, this was the 40s. Corruption in Chicago was wholesale. We had a mayor named the first daily, not Daly's son, but the first mayor there. And these people, the cops, would come down. Two of my favorites were two policemen named Short Coat and Tarzan, baby. Short Coat and Tarzan.
Okay, I wonder where they got those nicknames.
Well, black people named them both.
Okay.
They were given their nickname. Short Coat had a little short
trench coat?
Trench coat or something like that. And Tarzan looked like a gorilla.
Okay.
He looked like a gorilla. He had hair everywhere. And he was the one, when they knocked on the door, they heard the door, everybody would stop gambling and put some chairs around the crap table like they were playing whist. You ever see a whist game with 12 people?
Onlookers. Cheering them on.
Cheer them on.
Yeah, right, the fans.
Oh no, don't play that.
Right, yes, yeah, definitely.
She would bring them in the front room where we were supposed to be sleeping. And, all right, Mary, let's have it now, come on. Said, now look, y'all, I ain't made no good money yet because the high rollers ain't come in yet. They're going to be here in a little while. I can give both of y'all $5 a piece.
Okay.
$5 a piece? Come on, Mary, what you talking about? I remember this,
right.
$5. What we going to do with $5 a piece? I don't know what you're going to do with it. Okay, but that's all I can give you right now. Now, if you want to come back later on, I can give you a little bit more. Well, Mary, you drive a hard bargain. No, Short Coat. Don't be trying to get all funny with me and stuff.
Right.
Because I'm just a poor little black woman. Poor little blac woman trying to do the best I can.
Yes, I bet she was.
She did that. So she was dynamite. She was the one who talked to me about earning a living and doing things. I was hanging out with a guy who had a speech impediment named Dickie. Dickie had somebody hit Dickie in the head with a ball-peen hammer, and I think destroyed his speech center because he spoke like a goose or something. But we were tight. We understood each other. And she would be telling me things like, we need some wood in the coal cellar. We use a big pot-bellied stove in the gambling house. Ain't this something? The gambling table was about this far away from the stove. And it's a wonder somebody didn't burn it up.
Right, yeah.
But while they were in there, they didn't have fires because the heat of the bodies kept them warm.
Right.
But she was telling us, if you can get some coal, like a bushel basket full of it,
right,
you could put it in the coal cellar. So we went around, me and my friend Dickie, when people were dumping coal into their coal cellars, they always stood on one side of the coal pile to shovel it in.
Right.
We would stand on the other side of the coal pile and just put my hands stayed dirty from stealing people's coal. And I'd take it home.
Well, I wonder what happened to Dickie, if you still around.
I don't even know his name. I don't remember his last name.
But, check us out on Facebook.
But he was my friend. He was my friend forever. Let me cover Miss Sweet.
We were saying mine.
Yeah, Miss Sweet and then Dr. Burroughs.
Okay.
Miss Sweet, I thought was my grandmother for a long time because once again, as they used to say, we've been dragged from pillar to post, and I wound up with Miss Sweet and Mr. Jimmy over on 39th and Wentworth, down the street from the Cubs baseball stadium. Miss Sweet and Mr. Jimmy. Miss Sweet was a little small lady, and Mr. Jimmy was a big, robust guy. He was he called it Mohawk Indian from Detroit, and he looked like an Indian. He looked, he was very, they became my grandparents for the time I lived with them.
Right.
She had two sons, Walter and James, and they were both teenagers. Walter was a thoroughbred dope fiend. Thoroughbred dope fiend. He could not stop shooting heroin to save his life. And Dyke, James, they call him Dyke for some reason, couldn't stop stealing.
Oh my.
Tell you a story.
I'm sad.
I want to hang out with the big boys. I want to hang out with the big boys. Let me hang out with the big boys, please. They said, okay, come on. I was with him. This is James. James Freeman Keating. they decided they want to rob or steal from a junkyard that was over there somewhere, and I could help them.
No, because you're little, right?
Me, little Odie, I could help them.
Right.
Oh, you okay? What can I do? So we're going to throw you over the fence. Huh? We're going to throw you over the fence and you unlock the gate from inside.
Heaven only knows what's on the other side. But
God only knows. Okay. You know, at the time I'd do anything. It never occurred to me.
Right.
How would I land on my feet? I don't know. You've been a gymnast.
Yes, you just land on your feet if you have any good sense.
If you have any good sense. Okay. James. James' friend tossed me over the fence. I must have done a flip or something because I landed on my feet. About 5 yards in front of a giant German Shepherd dog. You know how their eyes perk up? He was just sitting there. It looked like he was waiting for me, right? And his ears
Is that a boy? Where'd that boy come out of the sky?
Boy meat. And he looked at me, and I looked at him.
Fell out of the sky.
Fell out of the sky.
Just for dinner.
Before, I know he knew what I was. But before he could get himself together to pounce on me, I ran up the sides. I've seen cats do this. Run straight up until I got to the top and grabbed and flipped back over. And they said, well, okay, what's in that? A dog. He was used to people like that. He didn't say a sound. To this day, I can see him say, damn.
One got away.
One got away. Miss Sweet and Mr. Jimmy, specifically Miss Sweet, since I'm talking about women, was the kind of person who was very sweet to everybody. She called me Paul because she thought I was very wise. She said, Paul, what you think about so-and-so, so-and-so? We sitting at the table, she doing, snap beans?
Snapping beans, yeah.
She's always busy. She used to work for the white people on the north side, which meant that she sometimes went away, spent the whole day, came back with a shopping bag full of goodies that people had given her and stuff. Hard-working woman. Mr. Jimmy worked at the Eagle Laundry. I knew that. When he came home for dinner, she had a tray for him. He liked cream-style corn and pork chops and a beer and so forth. But when we spent our days together, and she's out there on the back porch, and I was a curious little boy, you know, what make the sun go round? She said, well, I don't know, Paul. I can't tell you what makes it go around, but I can tell you if it stopped going around, we'd be in trouble.
Okay. That's wise enough.
How would that be? Because there would be no sun shining on us. And then everything would be, you know, like these beans here, they couldn't turn green without the sun. Well, wait a minute. How did yellow sun make that green? Say, I don't know.
But it does.
But it does. So what she stopped, Mr. Jimmy, for his part, when he came home, he just got rid of me by saying, come on, let's listen to the stories.
On the radio.
So we listened to the Shadow.
Oh, the Shadow
Who knows?
The Shadow knows.
Fibber, McGee, and Molly. I'm going back in history, y'all. I'm going back.
But tell me real quick, you know, how do these women get along with other black women or Negro women at the time and Negro men?
It seems to me they had a very, very cool understanding. Miss Sweet, for example, started at the end and going forward. Miss Sweet with Mr. Jimmy, well, he liked to drink a beer. I found out later that they had a fast life in Detroit. And that he had been a pimp and she had been one of his ladies. And they had retired from the game and become square people.
She's reliable, for sure.
Going up the ladder, Aint Bessie, and Aint Mamie. Aint Mamie had a wonderful relationship with Uncle Thomas. Uncle Thomas worked at Kingston Steel Mill for 25 years. And of course, they let him go
Just
2 weeks before he was due to retire. While he was working, he went to work some godly morning, some godly, ungodly time of day, and did it 5 days a week, and on Friday night he got drunk. He got drunk from Friday until Sunday night, and then got to go to work Monday morning, like clockwork.
Wow.
They had respect for each other, and the conversation they had, to me, that makes any sense, because they were just passing code. Aunt Mamie says to Uncle Thomas, that bill due, and he says, yeah, I know. And they take care of that. Aunt Bessie had a very bad relationship with a man that I remember named Foots. Foots was about 6 feet tall, Aunt Bessie was about 5'2". Foots was not a good husband. And I just said, leave that alone.
Right.
But they clearly understood who they were and what they had to do. Aunt Mary knew that what she was doing was illegal, but that either that or go work in somebody's house or somebody, do some menial labor.
Right.
So they I don't know, there was a very clear understanding. For me, as a boy growing up, they taught me I shouldn't be afraid of strong women.
Okay.
I mean, there's no need to have a relationship with a woman. You can beat her down.
Right.
They thought that was very cowardly. Why would a man want to attack a woman?
Right, of course.
And in that era and in that time, he ran a real danger of attacking a woman because he might not go to sleep for a while. He'd go to sleep forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having said that, I think we've come to the end of it. I'll leave Dr. Margaret Burroughs for next time.
This is very true. Okay, but
this is what's in old.
Yes, this is which is book he's currently writing. All right. In the meantime, there are other books that Odie has written, and you can find them on his website, www.odiehawkins.com. And there's an event coming up for him in May, but we'll talk about it later.
That's right. Huh?
Yes, indeed. And so he's having an enjoyable life doing his passion, which is writing. And I'm having a wonderful life being among the first to read the books.
Oh, how sweet of you to say that.
It's the truth.
Really?
I love his characters. His characters are so real.
Oh,
sometimes you have to say, that isn't a real person.
Oh, you're embarrassing me.
It's the truth, my love.
You're embarrassing me.
Indeed. I hope you will join us again.
Yes.
After we post this, and that you will like our page, or follow our page, and wish you a good end of April and
good end of April
and the beginning of May. Wish you a good life.
Do your thing.
Do your thing. And enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. And the important people in your life.
Ha!